On December 20th, we had a young man fall victim to a shooting occurring on 509. This, our hearts ache. All the agencies involved that you'll hear from today, our hearts ache for the victim and his family's members. So whether the shooting was accidental or deliberate, his life has been permanently altered and his family's life has been permanently altered. Public safety is our top priority, and the partnerships that all of us in public safety participate in, this is one of those opportunities where we come together as a task force, join forces to ensure the public safety. I stand with our partner agencies today, and we are going to do all we can to solve this series of shootings that have occurred. And KCSO will lend our expertise. Our detectives have skills in this area of investigating these kinds of outdoor crime scenes, and our intelligence unit will assist as well as we work with partners from the Washington State Patrol, the Washington State Fusion Center, Des Moines Police Department, Port of Seattle, and our friends at the federal level with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So I want to say thank you to them and thank you to our community, and it is so important for our community, if they hear see anything suspicious, hear gunshots, to call 911 and report these, and let law enforcement determine if they are indeed the results of a gunshot or a crime. And so, while it may seem small, the vigilance of our community is going to help us solve this crime. And the dedication of law enforcement professionals you see here today, and those that work with us and for us, will work hard to solve this. On that note, I would like to introduce Captain Ron Mead, the commander for this jurisdiction, and he'll have a few words.
Thank you, Sheriff. Morning or afternoon. I'm going to read a prepared statement. My name is Ron Mead. I'm the captain for the Washington State Patrol, and I oversee all field operations here in King County. The Washington State Patrol and King County Sheriff's Office are requesting assistance from the community in locating the individual responsible for December 20th, 2018 shooting that hit a child in the head, causing the 14-year-old boy to lose his eyesight. On December 20th, 2018, at approximately 11 p.m., a family was traveling southbound on State Route 509 just south of the First Avenue Bridge when the front passenger window was shot out. Tragically, their 14-year-old son was hit in the head and subsequently has lost his vision. It may be this was not intended, and the individual using the firearm may not be aware of the consequences of his or her actions. Upon learning of this child's injury, there may be observable reactions by the responsible individual. These may include, but are not limited to, the following: sudden, unexplained mood swings, interest or intense interest in the media coverage, increased drug or alcohol use, and withdrawal from social or daily activities. Well, this has been the only reported injury from these series of shootings. There have been other reports from members of the community indicating that their vehicles and or residences have been hit by gunfire over a period of several months. These incidents have occurred in the area of State Route 509 and South 160th Street. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact law enforcement, as the prevention of further incidents or injuries is paramount. Along with the WSP and King County Sheriff's Office, a task force has been created to include the Des Moines Police Department, the Port of Seattle Police Department, with assistance from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The purpose of this task force is to have a unified investigation of these shooting cases. Law enforcement is confident there are members within the community who have information regarding the shootings and are asking for your cooperation. Oftentimes, citizens have information of value but do not come forward because of concerns that it may not be important to their investigation. We ask that you let us assess the value of that information and evaluate your tip. Please contact us with any information you may have regarding these shootings. Furthermore, if there is concern with the circumstances in which the information is obtained, your identity can remain anonymous. We've established a tip line, which is 425 401-7880, or you can email us at sr509shootingtip@wsp.wa.gov. I'd now like to introduce Chief Ken Thomas of the Des Moines Police Department.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. I want to express the importance and make the strong point that law enforcement is committed to resolving this situation. As you can tell by bringing law enforcement from the federal level, the state level, and local level all together to work towards finding a solution to this criminal activity is critically important to us. And we are appealing to the community and asking for your help and your tips to give us a good shot at resolving this case as quickly as possible. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the captain, and I think we'll take any questions you might have.
Is there any indication these shootings in the same area are connected, or do we not even know that yet?
That's undetermined. I mean, the proximity and the timing is suspect, so hence why we've established this task force to explore all possibilities. Whether they're individual or a series of coincidences, I'm confident we'll find out. So.
There's an encampment in that area. What do you guys know about that, and are you looking at that as a possible source of where this?
So we're looking at we're looking at everything right now, and so I'm not going to get into the various aspects of the investigation at this point, but suffice it to say we're looking at all avenues.
Have you talked to people in that encampment?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of the investigation, but we're looking at all avenues.
What is ATF's role in the investigation?
Hi, Jonathan Blaze, the Assistant Special Agent in Charge for the ATF and Seattle Field Division. ATF is assisting our partner agencies in looking to solve this crime. Our mission is protecting the public. Specifically with this, we're providing special agents who are participating in the investigation, laboratory resources, and other technical assistance.
There was another homicide not far from this sort of general area. Is there any concern that that is connected in any way to this?
I'm not sure which homicide you're referring to.
Jim, do you remember the date?
8400 First Avenue happened on July 28th. It's a Seattle case. It is probably within a quarter mile, and that's my other question for whoever. So why isn't Seattle here? I mean, there's a homicide less than a quarter mile from this shooting scene, and we're telling you that there's a homicide.
Yeah, so the Fusion Center is actively engaged in this, and they are the coordination point for law enforcement, not just locally, but really regionally. And so,
Yeah, go ahead.
why don't you, this is Kurt Boyle, who's director of the Washington State Fusion Center.
Thanks, sir. So the Fusion Center is partnering with all the agencies here, and one of our goals is to just focus on what's happening on 509. There have been cases and shootings around the area, but what we're doing is trying to map out what's happening in a certain range of 509 and not what's happening on the side streets right now. So just the vehicles that have been shot on 509 and in that area.
While you're there, you guys mentioned the other incidents. Can you characterize maybe ballpark how many that you're looking at that could be connected?
I can't get into that. I don't. Our analysts are working on mapping the data that's been provided us to make sure that we have a range, a location where those shootings on 509 have occurred.
Do police think that this December 20th shooting near the bridge is related to the June shooting on the 509 near 160th? That
remains a focus of our investigation. Again, we don't have anything concrete to tie any of these shootings together. The Washington State Patrol has 7 active investigations related to shootings on 509. Both the Des Moines Police Department and King County Sheriff's Office have additional shootings related to State Route 509. Hence, the focus of our efforts is on 509 itself. But whether or not these are intertwined, how they're intertwined, that remains a focus of the investigation.
What can the public do? What do you need the public to do?
The whole purpose of this press conference really is to focus on getting the public's attention. If they see something, know something, hear something, please report those tips to the tip line. Again, it's 425-401-7880. or 509shootingtip@wsp.wad.gov. We believe that the community is paramount in bringing forward information that will help us successfully conclude this investigation with an arrest and prosecution.
And obviously, we wouldn't be here if you weren't worried that more could happen, correct?
Well, so the reality is, as late as last night, we had another shooting incident. So it's our belief that these are continuing, and obviously we want to bring them to a stop as quickly as we can. So.
And Captain,
Where was that
I think
incident?
I'd like to add one thing. It's also important that while we use the tip line, that we also, excuse me, Captain, that we also call 911 right away when we hear or see something unusual. And so let's not forget, first, let's get law enforcement responding, get that information broadcast so we can share it, because we all share the ability to communicate via radio, and then the tip lines for anything else that is not an in-progress event would be useful as well. So I want to make sure we do that. And to add, we are calling out to the public today to answer your question. We do, you know, if we're talking about this, we believe we have a group of shootings. We just don't know, you know, who's doing them, if it's one person or several. And so, as you know, there's things that we're investigating right now we just don't want to share with you, and you're used to that. But we will share as we go forward. There's information, and we thank the media for helping us share this information today.
I guess here's the big question is it safe for people to drive on 509 right now? I think that's a legitimate question.
I came down 509 from Seattle here today. I travel 509 frequently in my private vehicle, come down here to work. So these are all things that we have to evaluate and solve, but we're letting folks know just to be aware of, pay attention to what you're seeing and what you hear as you're going about your life in this area.
Increased patrols?
To that end, we have increased visibility along 509. You know, as safe as the whole purpose of this is to bring attention to the issue. I wouldn't say 509 is any less safe than at any point in time. But obviously, we've had a series of events that are concerning, and at least has caused one serious injury. So, hence the press conference.
I have one question for the captain. You mentioned some fairly straightforward and very specific personality changes in your guys', collectively, your experiences. If someone does a crime and gets called out into the carpet, if not knowing, you know, if they're not known, but do they feel guilty? Is that why you're looking for the attitude changes or the personality changes?
So I'm going to leave the talking points just as they were for investigative purposes, and not try to read into them, but just let them speak for themselves, if you don't mind.
You guys had mentioned another incident last night. Could you share how many incidents there have been? I understand you don't know if they're connected, but it would be nice to know how many.
So the incidents that we're investigating collectively is 11. So we have 7 investigated by the Washington State Patrol, 3 by the Des Moines Police Department, and 1 by the King County Sheriff's Office thus far that we've all connected together.
And they all involve gunfire at vehicles and homes?
Yes.
You might not be able to say, of course,